Hey everyone, and welcome back. We're diving deep today into something that we all know we need to think about, even if we'd rather just push it aside, which is planning for retirement.
It's definitely something that's easy to put off until later.
Absolutely. And we actually got some great listener questions about this whole topic, and specifically about using indexed universal life insurance, or IULs, as part of a retirement plan.
Yeah, IULs have been generating a lot of buzz.
They have, and I have to admit, I didn't really know much about them when we first got those questions. But we've both been doing some digging, and I think we're ready to break it all down and see if IULs might be the right choice for you.
I think so too, and it's great that your listeners are thinking about this now because really the sooner you start planning for retirement, the more options you'll have and the more control you'll have over your future.
That makes total sense.
Yeah.
So before we get into the specifics of IULs, maybe we should take a step back and talk about why saving to retirement can be such a challenge in the first place.
Sure, a lot of people rely on traditional savings accounts, but with interest rates being as low as they are, those accounts just don't really keep up with inflation.
Yeah, you're right.
So you could be saving diligently, but your money is actually losing purchasing power over time.
Yeah, that's definitely not what you want.
And then there's a stock market, which can be incredibly volatile. We've all seen how quickly things can change. And a lot of people just aren't comfortable with the idea of their retirement savings being at the mercy of those market swings.
I can see why they've worked hard their whole lives to save that money, and they don't want to see it disappear overnight because of something they can't control.
Exactly. And that's where IULs come in as a potential solution.
Okay, so tell me about them.
Right.
What exactly are IULs and how do they work?
So an indexed universal life insurance policy it's a type of permanent life insurance that combines death benefit protection with a cash value component that can grow over time.
Okay, so it's kind of like a superpowered savings account with life insurance built in.
That's a good way to think about it. The cash value portion of an IUL is linked to the performance of a specific market index, like the S&P 500.
I'm following you.
So your cash value has the potential to grow based on how that index performs. But, and this is important, there's a floor on those returns, meaning that even if the market takes a nosedive, your cash value won't lose money.
Okay, that's interesting. So you get the potential upside of being linked to the market, but without the risk of losing everything if things go south.
Right. You're protected from those market downturns. So to give you an example, let's say you have an IUL that's linked to the S&P 500 and it has a 0% floor. If the S&P 500 drops by, let's say, 15%, your IUL's cash value won't decrease.
It's like a safety net.
Exactly. But if the index increases by, say, 10%, their cash value will reflect that growth minus any fees, of course.
That makes sense. So there's still the potential for gains, but I'm guessing the returns might be lower compared to investing directly in the stock market.
You're right. Because of that downside protection, the potential gains are usually capped. It's a trade-off. You're essentially accepting potentially lower returns in exchange for the security of knowing that your investment is protected.
So it's like choosing a slow and steady path over one that could be faster, but much riskier.
Yeah. And that peace of mind can be incredibly valuable, especially as you're approaching retirement. You don't want to be constantly worrying about market fluctuations and whether or not you'll have enough money to live comfortably.
I can definitely see the appeal of that. And, something else that stood out to me when I was reading about IULs is the tax-deferred growth. Can you explain how that works?
Sure. With tax-deferred growth, you don't have to pay taxes on the gains in your IUL's cash value until you withdraw the money, which typically happens in retirement.
So you're essentially letting your money grow tax-free for years and years.
That's the idea. It allows your investment to compound more effectively over time, and it can lead to significantly higher returns in the long run.
That's amazing.
Ah.
So it's almost like getting a bonus boost to your savings just for choosing an IUL.
You could think of it that way. And to really illustrate the impact of tax-deferred growth, imagine two people each investing $10,000 a year for 20 years, and let's say they both get an average return of 7%.
Okay, I'm imagining it.
One person invests in a traditional account where they have to pay taxes on those gains every year. The other person invests in a tax-deferred account like an IUL.
What happens after those 20 years?
Well, the difference in their final balances due to that tax deferral could be huge, potentially tens of thousands of dollars more for the person who had the tax-deferred account.
Wow, that's a pretty compelling argument for tax-deferred growth.
It really is. But it's important to remember that IULs aren't the only way to get those tax advantages.
Oh, that's right. There are other retirement savings options like 401ks and IRAs.
Exactly. 401ks are often employer-sponsored, and they also offer tax-deferred growth and sometimes even employer matching contributions, which can be a fantastic way to boost your savings even further.
Yeah, and IRAs are individual retirement accounts that anyone can open. They also offer tax advantages and a lot of flexibility in terms of investment choices.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all situation when it comes to retirement planning. There are different approaches to consider, each with its own set of pros and cons.
That's true. It sounds like IULs are definitely worth considering, especially for people who are concerned about market volatility and want that peace of mind knowing that their investments are protected.
I agree. But I would also emphasize that IULs are complex financial products. It's really important to do your research thoroughly and make sure you understand all of the details before you make any decisions. Okay? And it's always a good idea to talk to a financial advisor who can help you assess your individual needs and goals and figure out if an IUL or any other type of retirement savings plan is a good fit for you.
Absolutely. And, even beyond the financial aspect of retirement planning, there's so much more to think about. What are your dreams and goals for this chapter of your life? What brings you joy?
Yeah, financial security is important, but a truly successful retirement is about more than just having enough money. It's about having the freedom to pursue your passions, to spend time with loved ones, to travel, to do whatever it is that makes you feel fulfilled.
What a great point. So as you're thinking about retirement planning, don't just focus on the numbers. Think about how you want to spend your time and what will bring you happiness and purpose.
That's what it's all about.
Well, this has been such an insightful conversation. Thank you so much for helping us break down IULs and for reminding us that retirement planning is about so much more than just money.
My pleasure.
And for all of you listening, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into IULs and the bigger picture of retirement planning. We hope you found it helpful, and we'll see you next time.